Hi, everyone, and welcome to Copenhagen. We are today presenting a CTO case. The operator is Frans Petersen, my colleague. I'm Dr. Tilstedt, and we have three nurses in the room. That's Anna and Klaus and Lone. The gentleman on the table is a 61-year-old male. We saw him a couple of weeks ago with a stable angina. The ECG seemed to suggest that there has been a prior inferior myocardial infarction with Q waves in the inferior leads and a akinesia in the inferior wall with a left ventricular ejection fraction of 45. We have a chronically occluded RCA, which we think is supplying a territory without a viability. And then we have a diffusely diseased LAD, as you can see on the screen, with an FFR measurement of 0.82, which means it's not significant. And we have a slightly diffuse diseased first diagonal, which we're not going to treat, which is not that big. And then today we're going to treat this chronically occluded circumflex, as you can see on the screen. We think there might be a microchannel. We're not that sure. We haven't tried it yet. You can see the setup shots. It seems that there might be a small channel. There's probably a tapered proximal cap. There's a short side branch taken off just above the proximal cap. And there's a bifurcation at the distal cap. So what we're planning today is to do a Antegrade wire escalation and see how far that will take us. It's not suitable for ADR as the distal cap is at a bifurcation. If we get subintimal, we will see whether we'll do a parallel wire technique or just do an investment procedure. That means we're going to dilate the proximal cap within the subintimal space, but we'll see that. We'll start out with Antegrade wire escalation. And Francis, up to now, he has wired the circuit with just a workhorse wire, and he has a microcatheter, which is it's a turnpike spiral there, and then he has a fielder XTA, and now we're going to see whether we can wire the vessel antegradely. Yeah, you just go ahead, Franz. And the patient is loaded with heparin, and we check the ACT every 20 minutes. We see now the wire is entering probably a side branch. No, it's a side branch. There's no previous angio on this gentleman, so we don't know the exact route of the circuit, but we think that we can see the microchannel. So it seems that it's pretty straightforward. The direction of the vessel. So Frans is now just bringing the microcatheter with the tip just in to the proximal cap. See if he can redirect the fielder XTA wire. You see it goes into the the side branches, which is taken off just proximal to the cap. Yeah. Just changing for a new field XJ because the wire tip has been bent on the other one, so just taking a new one. Try to see whether they could catch the vessel, and it seems that it might go in the right direction now. The microcatheter a bit further into the lesion to get some more support. In this case, we only have collateral filling from the diagonal. We have no dual injections in this case. Tactile feedback that Franz gets from the wire seems to suggest that he's within the true lumen, definitely within the vessel wall. Brings the it brings the microcatheter a little further down, and then it takes some other projections to see whether that suggests that he's within the true lumen. Seems like it's in the right direction, and the microchannel that we saw before seems to be within that one, but there is some resistance. How it just went in there. Save that one. Just save that. We think it jumped into the first marginal branch, as you can see. Screen now. Just there's at the distal cap, and there it went into probably the first marginal, but we'll have to see that. If it's within the first marginal branch, then we'll probably change the microcatheter for a double lumen catheter to wire the distal, which is the bigger of the two branches. But we'll see first whether we are in the true. Yeah, it's in the true. So we see just 7 or 8 millimeters distal to the bifurcation. So that was pretty fast. Want a fine cross or a Sasuke? We'll take the Sasuke double lumen catheter. Then we can probably also prepare for some IVAs afterwards. Don't you think, Franz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a small. Progress with your microcatheter to the bifurcation and then change for probably for just a workhorse wire. Should you have another angle just to see where the? Yeah, you're in the side branch. I can see that one. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Then you don't need the other one. Then you just need a trapper. Yeah. And we will to get the microcatheter out, you can either use an extension wire or you can use a trapper. We do both. In this case, in our institution, in this case, we just go with the trapper to hold the wire while you're retracting the microcatheter. I don't know whether everybody is familiar with this procedure, but you bring back the micro. I don't know whether you can focus on this one. You see you're taking the microcatheter as far back as you still have the wire here. Then you bring down the trapper, which is a balloon that is not in the wire and cannot enter the vessel. It stops approximately 10 centimeter before the distal part of the guiding catheter, and it locks the wire. So when you dilate the balloon, it locks the wire, and then you can just drag out the microcatheter. So is it a 7 French catheter?
Yeah,
it's 7 French, and go to 14 atmosphere or something like that. And then you always do fluoro when you retract the microcatheter, but now you can see you can just retract the microcatheter and the wire keeps in place. So we go down with the trapper. I'll take this one. Ja. Nå, men vi skal det dobbelt kateter, så nå, okay, så. Ja. No. So the next step now is to go bring down a double lumen catheter over this wire that we have and try to get a wire from the other lumen in the double lumen catheter to bring that one into the other side branch, which is the larger one, in which we want to use for stenting. And yeah, in this case, where as a part of the double catheter is a monorail, then take the trapper out. You don't use. We don't use the trapper. We don't need the trapper at this point because part of the double catheter is a monorail, so you can bring that down without pushing the wire further into the vessel. Just been controlling the AGT now. Which wire do you use for the other vessel? So we will take a CM blue for the main branch, just a workhorse wire. I think I think probably needed a little further down because the bifold is, yeah. The entry port of the second lumen here will be 1 or 2 millimeters proximal to the proximal marker. So we have to get the microcatheter down so that the wire will enter almost directly into the side branch and not into the CTO, which will make it more difficult to get into the true lumen. As you see Francis doing now, yeah. There are different techniques here. You can either bring the wire into the same branch and then retract the double lumen catheter and then retract the wire with the tip of the wire pointing in the direction of the other branch, and then see if it just can slide down into the other branch. Or you can either try to go directly from the double lumen catheter into the side branch. It might be difficult to get into the other branch because there's a 90-degree bend here. So it's there it goes. Beautiful. Into a side branch here, but still it's the right branch, I would say. Probably the small one taken off right at the bifurcation. Yeah, it is. Yeah. We just do the same once again. Take it back, slide it down with the tip pointing towards them. Yeah, beautiful. Team book. Yeah, I can do it, Frans. I can help. Yeah. Yeah, I will do that. Make some flow. Now we're bringing the double lumen catheter back, and then we need the trapper once again. It's a 7-strand catheter, so the trapper should be able to, the guiding catheter should be able to accommodate the trapper and the double lumen catheter. So now the trapper is being brought up, and then, as we did before, just retracting the microcatheter, in this case a double lumen catheter, bringing that one out, and we have the 2 wires in place, and then we're going to work on the distal wire, in which is in the main branch. Yeah. Yeah. So here comes the double lumen catheter, and Are you going to do some pre-dilatation before IVUS? Yeah, it's just a 2.5, 30, don't you think? Yes. Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of pre-dilatation before doing the IVUS to see the vessel size and the length of the occlusion. The plan at this point, it might be changed, but the plan at this point is to just stent the with one stent technique into the distal, and of course keep the marginal open, but just one stent. I don't think you should do that. Yeah. Hans is asking whether we should change the field of wire just for a workhorse wire. We could do that. We have the trapper in front. So if you absolutely wanted just a workhorse wire, then it's the right time to change it. Yeah. So the bring down the spiral. Yeah. And then which wire do you then want as workhorse? And see another CM Blue or yeah. Okay. So that means that next step will be changing the fielder XJ in the marginal branch. We'll go down, bring up the trapper balloon, and then just go down with the turnpike spiral, and bring out the fielder XTA. We will bring down the turnpike spiral over the fielder XTA, take out the fielder XTA, and then change for over the microcatheter, change for CM Blue, and then bring out the microcatheter once again with the help of the trapper balloon, and then we do some pre-dilatation and some IVUS before denting. Yeah, it's to just have a little spin on the spiral to get it down through the CTO, but it seems pretty easy. Take care of the tip of the wire. So out goes now the fielder XTA. Yeah. And then we change for the CM Blue. Yeah. And the patient is completely stable with the blood pressure around 130 of 75 and a heart rate of 60. So now we have the CM Blue in place, and we retract the spiral. Still have the trapper in place. Yeah. There's some resistance, so we need to spin it counterclockwise to get it out. CTO, yeah, here it goes. Once again, he retracts the microcatheter until he reaches the end of the wire. Bring up the trapper, and then retract the microcatheter while doing fluoro to make sure he's not retracting the wire. So now we have 2 CM Blues in place, and the next step will be ballooning. Now we take the trapper out because it's not needed. Maybe not anymore in the procedure, at least not for a while. this is what we're discussing right now. Is that we have the problem we have to overcome in these cases with where you only have ipsilateral collaterals, where you cannot give contrast into the opposite vessel. That means that if you are subintimal and you have made a dissection, then if you give a real fluoro, do a real fluoro with lots of contrast, and you might risk to have a huge dissection. So that's why France was so gentle with the contrast in this case, just to make sure that the wires are in the real position. If you were still in doubt, then you could bring down a microcatheter, see if you could aspirate on that one, which it means that you are in a lumen, and then you can give contrast. It's a 2.520, this one. Yeah. How many atmosphere? Just 6 or 8 or yeah. Just a gentle pre-dilatation here, because we will bring down the IVUS in a while to get the real dimensions of the vessel, prox and distal to the bifurcation, and prox and distal to the CTO. You see it slides a little bit, so there's some fibrotic tissue up there in the proximal cap of the lesion. Might need some scoring or just a non-compliance. Seems to be able to dilate it this bit. At least we have dilated as much as we can go down with the IVUS now. We always do IVUS in our CTOs because the distal part of the vessel might be undersized because of a low perfusion pressure for a long time. So that's why we need to see the dimensions of the vessel. And after all, in our institutions, we have the use of IVUS has really gone up for the last 3 or 4 years. So we now use IVUS in I think it's 50% of our cases, IVUS or OCT. We use mainly IVUS. Can you take it up to the yeah? Thank you. So we will bring the IVUS up. Yeah, that's right. No, on the other, if you can put it on the other one, that will be great. I'm not sure whether the signal is sufficient for you to see out there, but we have a very clear signal here. We are distal in the main branch now. You haven't started the pullback, just to let you know that. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, we can see some diffuse disease here in the distal part of the vessel. We'll measure the size of the vessel when we've done the pullback. You see here's the second wire coming in. That was from the side branch. So you see the 2 wires, they are around 2 o'clock in the picture. There's not that much calcification. There's between 9 and 11, there's a little bit of calcium, not that much. Here, once again, here at 9 o'clock. You see a little more here when we come into the proximal cap of the occlusion, but still with a thin layer. And here we have some plaque, which is a soft plaque up here. Still a plaque, and now we come into the. Now we are proximal. Is that proximal to the occlusion side? Yeah. Is it? Now we're in the yeah. Now we yeah. That was the left main. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there is some mechanical issue, but it hadn't recorded, so we need to do another one. Oh, tick. We just gonna. This is just ordinary cases, ordinary issues here. We need to do a rerun coming up. It has been done, so now we're ready. Yeah. Try to go live. Just it's okay. Wait. So let's. We just bring the catheter down once again here. Yeah, that's fine. Good positions as well. There's some plaque down here. It's distant to the bifurcation. There's some plaque here. Now we see at 12 o'clock the other wire is coming in. That means the side branch wire. And now we are in the CTO. Not much calcium coming in between 7 and 9 here. See some 9 o'clock, some calcium here. A little bit. But as well as you saw. Still within the CTO, now at the proximal cap where you have much more degree of calcium. Now we come into the huge vessel proximal. Some plaque, but we should be able to find a landing zone with less than 50% plaque. Now we come into the left main. That was the LED coming from 12 o'clock. We stop it here because we're not going to stand up to the bifurcation to the left main circ. We're just going to keep the stent within the circ. We probably need to stand all the way down to that side branch, which means that But can you show some measurements on the screen? Yeah. So I don't know whether you can see the reference image right now, but we probably will need to stand of course, across the bifurcation with the marginal, but also just across the next bifurcation, there was quite a lot of plaque down there. There's the other, yeah. Now this is the distal cap at the CTO, yeah. Yeah, you have 20 millimeters to stand at least from there, because you have to stand all the way down to where you started. Here's a landing zone. Yeah, there's a landing zone there. So we measure here from media to media. It's a 2.5. Yeah, can you measure it just in the middle? Yeah, okay. This one. Yeah. It just distal here is a 2.95. Yeah. So that means you can go with a 2.75 stand there. And here we have that's at the occlusion side. That's 3.5. But the 2.75, if you just go proximal to the bifurcation, 8 millimeters, do a pot, and then go with the bigger stand, you can do a pot, take the stand up to 2.75, you can take to 3.5 with a pot. Here we see at the proximal side of the probably is. What do you think? Take a trace assist here just to see. Yeah, it's just exactly 50%, maybe a little less because you can modify the. But here you can. But how far is that from the left main? Yeah, but from the left main, bookmark that one. I just bookmark that one. Yeah. Here we have a diameter of 4 millimeters, and then we see that here comes the left main. So yeah, but that's okay. That's you have to go proximal to the side. You should stand just proximal to the small side branch. Small. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can do that. How long is it in total? What do we have from the distal bookmark and all the way up? So 62. I think we should stop a little bit before. So don't you think we should go just with a 38 in the first place, and then yeah 2.75 38 science stand. Yeah. Do you need 3.5? 3.5. I don't think you need to go into the distal part because there was no calcium, but you need to do it within the CTO. That's 3.5. Don't you think that will be? We just need some more pre-dilatation before that one, but we take that one afterwards. Three. Ja. Hvad var det? Men det var den, du har på bordet. Ja. Og så 3,5, ja, og så 3,5, 15, ikke? 3.5. Ja, det er lige distal forbi foturen. Yeah, that's distal. Yeah, that's 3.5 in the, yeah. And there's calcium, so I would think you should go 15. So we do some more pre-dilatation of the distal part now. That means that we're going to just go down with the semi-compliant balloon because there was no calcium at the distal part, just a 2.520, all the way down to where we will land our stent distally. And then we go with a 3.5 non-compliant balloon within the CTO. And then we're going to stent with, we plan to, it was a 62 millimeters in total. So we will go down with a 2.75 38 stents, which will land approximately in the middle of the CTO, and then we'll prolong the stent with a probably a 4.0 stent. And as you can see, there's no indentation on the balloon. It just dilates the vessel here. But we saw in the first place that we had some small indentation on the balloon at the proximal cap. So that's why we just, and where we can see the calcium on the iris. So that's why we want to go down with a 3.5 balloon, a non-compliant balloon here. It's time for an ACT measurement now. So, and then the next step will be the 3.5 balloon. Probably some dissection in the CTO right now, but it's a very gentle puff, so you cannot say it for sure, but it's not unlikely. No. Yeah, exactly, proximal to the bifurcation in the CTO. Yeah, it's just proximal to the bifurc. It's 3.5, and as you can see, there's no indentation on the balloon, no narrowing, so that seems good. Pardon? No, I don't think you are exactly where you want it to stand. 2.538. 75. 2.75. 75. Yeah. So next step will be the distal stent, which will be extended across the marginal branch. We will take that reference picture that where you actually saw the distal landing zone. Maybe bring that one up. You can just drag one. Yeah, you had that one where, yeah, exactly that. We had one where could actually see the small side branch there. That one. No, it's the other way. Yeah. Yeah, it was after. Yeah. It was before these larger balloons. Yeah. So, maybe we did. You didn't save a picture then. It's too far. Yeah, at least this one we can see it, and we are in the same angle as. So we're gonna just stand distal to the branch taking off to the left in the screen with the 38 millimeter stent here. And we measured it to about, it's probably a little undersized on the iris due to the low perfusion pressure, but we measured it to 2.65 as far as I remember. And that means that we shouldn't put too much pressure on the stent down there. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the point where we wanted to put it. So yeah, no, exactly. So we'll bring up the center. And remember, it was only 2.6 or something in the distal part. Yeah, 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 yeah. So 10 atmosphere at this point. And then we go down afterwards with the post dilatation and I was control and see whether it needs further. But as I said, the reference diameter was about 2.6 at the distal part. Based on the iris, it should be 62 millimeters, but it seems unlikely that there can be 24 millimeters proximal to this one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. Skal vi ikke bare 15? Nå, okay. Ja. Jeg vil bare sige 15 minutter til den næste. Ja. 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 It was just an ACT control we were discussing. It's an ACT of 377, so that's fine for now. So we just control it again in 15 minutes. You see the wire was a little retracted with the balloon, so it's easy to bring down through the stent now with a little knuckle, so that's perfect. So what do you think, Frans? Because I'm not side bends first, and then we do some pot. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is exactly what we expected. That the stand is a little over-dilated, but yeah, we will have some remodeling of the distal part. So now we do some pot proximal to the marginal, and then we will have a further stand, which should be a voltage of 4.0. We only have 3.5 and 4.0 in our institution. We don't have 3.75. So that's why we consider either a 3.5 or a 4.0. But we go with the pot now with a 3.515 non-compliant balloon. So you just want to prolong. Can you show with the arrow on the screen? Probably. Sorry? Can you show with the arrow on the screen where you want to stand up the proximal stent? Yeah, it's just yeah. Yeah. Another iris. Yeah. Just to make sure that. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So now we do some pot, and then we go down with the iris to see exactly the length of the proximal stent. So we just not just base it on angle, but actually base it on iris. But first some pot. And when you've done the pot, probably you should give some nitro as well to see to dilate the side branch. A little further distal, yeah. 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 So the distal marker just at the carina here. 3.5, the stent was 2.75. We bring it up here. How much did you dilate? Yeah. So 16 atmosphere here. Pot with 16 atmosphere for the pot. You want the stent booster? Yeah. Or, just a second. Just a second. Yeah, just a second. If you just bring it up here for just for a while. Yeah. So we just do a stent boost here to make sure that we're not getting out of the stent. We are. No, it's we are 5 millimeters out of the proximal part, but we need to stent further up here, so it doesn't matter that much. But if we have finalized stenting, we shouldn't be out of the stent, of course. Just bring the ECG and the pressure curves back here. Just a second. So the plan now is to give some nitro and then do the IVUS once again to find out exact the landing zone of the proximal stent and the length of the proximal stent. And of course also to check the position and dilatation of the distal stent. Yeah. It's really, I think it's acceptable. We have a TMA3 flow and you have done a pod that actually made a better flow in that one. So to the bifur. Yeah. But it's a 2%, and then you need a 3.0.
High pressure.
Yeah.
We can have a look at the arms.
Otherwise, you should just go down with the 2.75 stent balloon and give it a higher pressure at that part.
Let's see with the arms.
Yeah. We're discussing right now whether we should go with the with post dilatation of the distal part of the stent, distal to the bifurcation. It's a 2.75 stent, and then we should go with the 3.0 balloon, which the vessel probably would not be able to cope with. So if it needs some post dilatation, we could go down with a 2. We don't have a 2.75 balloon, but we have the stent balloon we can reuse. So that's what we're gonna find out now, and then we're also gonna find out with the IVUS whether we should not whether, but how long the proximal stent should be, and the landings, find the landing zone. Now we've started the pullback distally. Here we enter the stent in the distal circ. Seems well opposed.
Yeah.
And probably dilated. There was a side branch coming there. Still, here we have the two wires here. So it was that's the jail wire that has now entered the stent. But maybe, now we are proximal to the stent here. Here we are into the calcium. That's the proximal cap of CTO. So we're going to find a decent landing zone up here. This might be good. Now we're entering quite a plaque here, and So we don't want to stand. There is some plaque at the ostium of the circ, but we don't want to stand all the way to the ostium. So we will probably land 7, 8, 9 millimeters distal to the left main bifurcation. So what Frans is going to do now is he's going to go down with the 2.75 stent balloon just in the distal part of the stent.
Yeah, it's actually 250.
Yeah. it's going to go, he changed plans now, so it's going to go down with a 2.5 high pressure balloon, a non-compliant balloon, not a very high pressure, but just a non-compliant balloon, and then dilate not all the way to the distal part of the stent, but yeah, there's a step down at the distal part, so it doesn't want to risk it to make a dissection at the distal part of the stent, so it just now goes distal to the marginal bifurcation and do post dilatation. As it ends there, I think it's the proximal part of the stent should need some post dilatation as far as I see. But yeah, 4.0. That's where you plan to end, yeah. Yeah. Can you coming there? Yeah. Yeah, but it's just there. It's a little more proximal to that one. There. That's so it's a 15 millimeter stent. Yeah. Yeah, you can measure. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go down and post dilate the distal part of the stent with a 2.5 non-compliant balloon. It's 12 millimeters in length. We're not going to go all the way to the distal part of the stent just to make sure that it's well opposed here, well expanded.
Two atmosphere.
Have you decided on the length of the stent, or would you? One? Yeah, you can. And then you give the stent boost again, probably. If I find it, I can just. It just goes here. So now we use the stent boost just to find the proximal part of the previous stent. First stent. See, this is a 12 millimeter balloon, so we just it's just the proximal part of the stent. Yeah. Wait, it was actually it's a single shot. Yeah. Now it's 3 millimeters into the stent, so you have to retract it. Here we are. And then you give some slight contrast to see the proximal part of the vessel. Yeah, so that means we're going to need a 15 stent, right? Yeah, it is. No, exactly. And you have a stent of 4.0 15 signed stent. Yeah. And the reason for using signed stents in our institution is that that's part of the tender that we have. So that's the reason. Yeah. So this is a non-compliant balloon. Yeah, for 4.0 non-compliant balloon. Yeah, pre-dilate. No, the post-dilate. Yeah, yeah. Just to post-dilate, as we could see on the IVUS, that it needed a little bit of post-dilatation, the previous stent. So before bringing the next stent, we will just post-dilate a little bit here. Yeah. Yeah. When you have brought down the next stent, you should probably retract the jailed wire, because we don't want to jail it behind. Exactly, especially when we have an overlay between the two stents. So we bring down the stent. We use the jail stent as some sort of anchor if there's any resistance, so we can use that. And when before dilating the next stent, we will take out the jailed wire to avoid it being jailed between two stents, behind two stents, and between in between an overlap. As you can see, as you just saw, that Frans retracted the wire a little bit, so it actually was moving freely. So it's not that jailed, but we don't want to jail it behind 2 cents. And now the stent is down, and now the other wire is retracted. So now we're going to use a stent boost just to see that we place it. We have used the iris to see the length of the stent. So the placement just a slight overlap with the previous stent. We can see here we have 1.5 millimeter, or maybe retracted a little, just a millimeter or so. Yeah. No. Isn't that where you want it ended? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can't retract it further. So if you now it's a little. Now you don't have any overlay. Yeah, now we have just one. Yeah. It says. Yeah, no, yeah. Now it went down further. Too much. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah, this is great. This is the position at the with the overlap. So just want to see whether the stent is where you want it. That's, to me, this is. Yeah. So 18 atmosphere for this stent to take the to dilate the junction between the stents. Both are a little at the two stents they meet. 18 atmosphere. Yeah. So now we're going to give some nitro, and then we're going to do the IVOS, which presumably will be the final. We have to see that the side branch that we have a TMF3 flow and the bifurc to the side branch looks okay, and that we have proper landing zone at the proximal part of the stent in the circ. Really have a beautiful result here. We see that the multiple branch that we had wired before isn't that big, and it's not only because it's probably a little pinched in the ostrom. It is a small branch. We're not going to do anything further about that, I would say. Do you agree, Franz? Yeah. So we're going to do the IVUS now, see whether we need some more post-dilatation of the proximal part. Otherwise, it's a very, very fine result to me, and it's a very huge vessel as well. Now, yeah, we're going to focus on the proximal part with the IVUS now, because we have seen the distal. We have seen that the stent was probably expanded and well opposed. So we just take the more proximal part now. Bring the IVUS, enlarge the IVUS a little bit. So See a well expanded stent, circular. Beautifully expanded. Here we enter the calcified area. Here's the quite calcified area, and the stent is velopose and almost circular. Here we are proximal to the stent. Just need to check the landings. See here, there's quite a plaque at the ostium of the circle. We want to avoid stenting it. It's not significant, and end with the proximal part of the stent in part of the vessel where we have less than 50% plaque according to ultimate criteria. Here we have the proximal part of the stent, and here we are just proximal. Now we're in the stent. Here we are just proximal. It's velopose, no dissections. Just proximal to the stent. How much plaque burden do we actually have there? Yeah, it's here. That's where we landed. Yeah, it's probably about 50. It's 47. So and it's maybe a little overestimated if you can. So that's according to the ultimate criteria, landed in an area of less than 50%. We've got a beautiful angiographic result. We've got a beautiful IVUS result. So Franz is going to want some more nitro now. So we're going to do the final image. And I think we're done within a couple of minutes. I will send one of my colleagues to room 3 to see whether they are able to transmit from there. Can you ask Ole? Go with the left cranial also. Yeah.
Yes.
Couple of shots from different angles now to see that it's perfectly in all angles. Yeah, we still have. That's yeah, but that's the first. That is the setup. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. That was the circ. Actually, for the right. We're just discussing whether we have any collaterals for the right, which is totally occluded as well, but it doesn't seem like that. So now we have the final shot from here. Yeah. So it's a beautiful result. There's a plaque at the ostium of the circ, but we will not treat that at this moment. If the patient comes back with symptoms, I will do an ischemia test to see whether there's anything in any viability and any ischemia in the territory and recurrent symptoms. And we might do some FFR measurements on the ostium of the circ at a later point, but not today because we have just opened the circ, so we will have false measurements in that one at this point. So we are finished for now. Just waiting for a find out whether they can transmit from room 3. But we are finished with this case.